about a macrobial and what we're dealing with there. So I hand over, and you'll hear from both of these gentlemen as we go forward. The floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much, David. Good evening, everybody. We would like, Arnon and myself, would like to tell you something about a dream that come true. Sometimes dreams come true. And the story is about the slow-release sachets of Phytoselulus persimilis. Just a little bit of a background. We are talking about pests, spider mites, that we know that these are the worldwide pests which attack hundreds of plant species in dozens of botanical families. Devastating pests actually all over the globe. Trees, shrubs, indoors, outdoors, etc. Against spider mites, the ultimate macrobial natural enemy is Phytoselulus persimilis. Actually, practically the most important commercially available global natural enemy against spider mite since 1968. So it's definitely the oldest macrobial known globally, commercially available. And practically now, dozens of billions of predatory mites of Phytoselulus persimilis are actually sold all over the world commercially. Naturally speaking, or traditionally, persimilis is produced in a tritrophic level. You actually need a plant. On top of the plant, you are producing those spider mites because this persimilis is so specific. And on top of these spider mites, you are producing the Phytoselulus persimilis. Eventually, you harvest it one way or the other and actually commercialize it. This is what is done since 1968 all over the world by individuals, researchers, scientists, industry, everything. This is a traditional method. And as a leader of production and implementation worldwide of Phytoselulus persimilis, at BioBee, we were constantly thinking, something that we are doing since 1983, since our foundation, producing persimilis, what else can we do? Can we improve? How can we make progress and deliver and produce and deliver persimilis in a different way? So now it's about to show you actually the results of a project that my colleague, Mr. Arnon Tabik, led in the past 5 years that actually yielded the product that we would like to introduce. Arnon, please.
Thank you, Shimon. Okay, hi, everybody. So as Shimon said, this is the production system is a tritrophic one. So what would happen is that the production system is very similar to what happens in the field, at the customer's field. So spider mites on top of plants in greenhouses like we see here, the prey for production is the same prey against the natural enemy is used. So this is true for Phytoselulus persimilis, which is a specialist mite. What does it mean that it's a specialist? It only feeds on spider mites. Okay, so this production system is the one suitable for it. But for other predatory mites, more generalist mites that can live on a broader range of diets, there are alternative production methods. So these kind of mites are usually mass-reared in a factory-like setting, and they're reared on an alternative prey. So the prey used for rearing is not the same prey against which they're targeted to be used at the farmer's place. Okay? And an additional improvement of this method is that from the production, they're not sent directly to the farmer in bottles, but put into small paper sachets with alternative feed, okay, the same prey used for the rearing. And then these sachets are hanged on the plants at the grower's site, and the mites can keep reproducing in there, creating a slow release system over time. So this has many advantages. It's very desirable, but unfortunately, it hasn't been a possibility for Phytoselulus persimilis so far, and the reason is because of the because persimilis is such a specialist, feeding only on spider mites. So, and now we're glad to announce that after an effort of several years, we found a way, for the first time after 5 decades, it's been commercially known worldwide, to produce persimilis on an alternative prey. And we're introducing the BioPersi Plus. Okay, so that's our new product. The rearing is based on a novel production method, and one of the interesting results is that the predator isn't no longer the famous orange it used to be, but it comes out white when it gets to the client. The ring takes place in climate rooms and not in greenhouses. And we have a different product, both the bottled product, but also slow-release sachets like we have for generalist mites. So we offer these slow-release sachets in two different formula, either the classic that you see on the left, intended for preventive use, with a prolonged exit of the mites from the sachet, or the speed sachet you see on the right, which is formulated differently, so the mites leave the sachet faster, which is intended for curative application. And here we can see what it seems like if we see the exit hole of the sachet, and we have, can we see it? Yeah, okay. And a mating couple is now just leaving the exit hole on its way to the plant to control the spider mites. Now, one might wonder if we change the prey used for rearing, do they still remember what to do when they encounter spider mites? And gladly, the answer is yes. We see here persimilis eating spider mites' eggs. This is one of the exciting things to see. Within seconds after they're put on infested plants, these persimilis start attacking eggs, nymphs, and adults of spider mites. We see here another example. Okay? So at this stage, you can see that the mites are still bright white, but they quickly change their color. So they arrive white to the field, start feeding on spider mites, and then after a day or two, they would start changing the color back to orange after feeding on spider mites, either eggs like we see on the left or adults like we see on the right. There are a few differences between the conventional persimilis product and the new product. So I spoke about the color. Regarding the age structure, with the conventional product, we have only adults, and with the new product, we have both adults and juveniles. We didn't have any predator eggs in the conventional product, and we do have them with Persi Plus. A very interesting difference is the mite status. Mites are starved in the conventional product, which is used for their harvesting system. But we don't need this manipulation with Persi Plus, so they arrive to the field where they're well fed. Okay? And this also results in a change in behavior. So the conventional products mites are very hectic, they run around very quickly, and they're much more calm with the new BioPersi Plus product. Also, a few other features. So it has alternative feed. We saw improved searching abilities and increased fecundity because of the mites are not starved. We have continuous predation thanks to the presence of the juveniles, and we have a very unique proof of predation. So when you see the mite changing its color on the crop from white to orange-red, you know that it had fed on spider mites, that it's doing the job it was intended to. And just shortly, we tested for the efficacy of the slow-release sachets here on sweet pepper plants. These were given different treatments of preventive treatments. So we used early or late, meaning 1 week before spider mites or 2 weeks before spider mites, and then we monitored what happened, and we had a non-treated control. So you can see on the top graph that we quickly found predators in the preventive treatments and none in the control. And on the lower graph, you see that the spider mites were controlled very rapidly by the predators in the preventive release, while in the non-treated control, they kept escalating. So that's about it. I would like to say thanks to a few people. Tom, my great colleague, who was the co-leader of the project, Amit, who was in charge of the field R&D, and the entire lab of technicians and engineers that made this thing come true and enable this new era in spider mites control. And thank you for listening.
Lovely.
Thanks very much, Shimon and Anon. It's,
You can guess who the winners are of the main trophy, and it's our guys with the wonderful new products.
so if you'd please join us, Shimon and Anon at the front here.
So, BioBee, congratulations.
Well done. Thank you. Good work. And what we'd invite
Congratulations.
Shimon to give his reaction to that. We'll let you go back to your podium place and respond to that winning of the award.
Well, these kind of things do not happen so frequently. So it's time to thank, first of all, the judging panel for their wise decision, for the decision in favor of our entry, of course, vis-à-vis the very nice and rewarding entries as well out of the others. I want to thank BioBee employees, more than 300 people all over the world, in Israel and in 7 different subsidiaries, that really, you know, wake up every morning with a spark in their eyes to work, to innovate, to do the hard job, to do the more glamorous one, but that strive every single day for 38 years, since 1983, and definitely this type of achievement, they absolutely deserve it. I want to thank our friends and colleagues at Koppert, Holland, with whom we are collaborating in the production and application of the traditional persimilis for 38 years, also since the foundation of BioBee. So this is a very nice collaboration that we appreciate along the course of the time very much. Growers, I want to thank our fellow growers in Israel and abroad. Part of those growers are my personal friends, that their plots served as our trial fields in different crops, in vegetables, in ornamentals, in Israel and abroad. So I have a great appreciation to them as well. And finally, just personal words. You know, I'm working 32 years for BioBee, and this kind of thing happens, I guess, once in a lifetime. That's my feeling. A game changer like this, something that will really contribute to the industry. We will help the industry, will help growers to combat spider mites better than they were doing up till now. And this is, as modest contribution as it is, still for us, it's a very big thing. And I really thankful to be part of this. And again, thank you all for judging, us as a first place. Thank you very much. Maybe last but not least, David, I was actually in the first IBMA event that was headed by Bernard Blum at the beginning of the 90s. So this is also for me a very emotional moment in memory of the Bernard. Yes.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you.